with the singing of Hatikva, and you can find it on page 678 in your Siddur, and we'd like to invite everyone to please rise. Thank you. You may be seated. Welcome to our synagogue, Temple Beth Shalom. For those of you who are visiting, welcome back to those of you who are regulars. We're so glad to have you. You're in luck. This is really going to be a very special Shabbat because not only is Nashira, our adult choir, singing, and whenever they do, it is gorgeous. But also, I'm happy to say that we have a special guest here this evening. Well, we've got various special guests here this evening now that I think about it. One of whom is Ethan. He's a special guest because he is going to get a Hebrew name today and be welcomed into the ranks of the Jewish people. Another special guest is Rabbi Hannah Yerushalmi, who is here. She is a new author and going to be reading some of her poems from her book and answering a few, having a little discussion with me about some of the poetry and what she wrote and what it means. So it should be a really lovely, lovely evening. So I'm going to try to move a little bit quicker, speak a little faster, and say that we also have another special guest, and that's Hudson Lamont, who is right over there. He's going to be a bar mitzvah tomorrow at our service, Shabbat morning service, and I'd like to call upon Hudson and his parent. Hudson and his mom, and don't have my glasses. It's hard for me to see sometimes with the glare, but it looks like brother to come forward and lead us in the blessing for candles and kiddush. So we're on page 120. Come. You can come right here. All right. 121 first. So stand here, hold the book, and read from there.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
So let's get our match here. Remember, you're a pro. Yeah. Match. Ready to do it? Go the other way. Go this way. You got it. You got it. Slide away. Move your fingers away from the flame. Now do that one first. Not down. Up. Blow. There you go. Page 123. We continue with Kiddush. Please join us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom tefila l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher letzihiyat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta V'otanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha b'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Pretend sip. Half sip, full sip, pretend sip. Look on your face. I'll see you back here in an hour. You can go back to your seat. All right, so our service continues 648 with Shir Chadash. people. So I mentioned about one of our special guests, that being Ethan, and so I would like to invite him and his parents, Carrie and Kevin, to join us here on the bima for the joy of bestowing a Hebrew name on this. And yes, maybe come to a family affair. Yeah, perfect, right here. This is, you can imagine that for us rabbis, we're at a lot of various different moments in people's lives, and I just love the sound of that. We're a lot of moments like this, and so often moments where I am is not the most joyous moment. Oftentimes it's moments which are difficult and sad, but this is just the opposite. This is new life and new joy and a new element to the family and a baby brother that you have that you can teach all of your tricks to. That's right, and there's nothing quite like looking into the eyes of a newborn too, because you realize that there's so much there, right? You're looking at the eyes you're looking at your own reflection on many levels. You see your own self in those eyes or the facial features. But also when you look into the eyes of a baby, you kind of start imagining, like, what's the future? What's there? And what will his future be? And you realize that there's so much promise and potential, and it fills you. It fills you with joy, it fills you with enthusiasm and excitement, and we as a Jewish people have always known this feeling. We have cherished these moments of welcoming someone into the ranks of the Jewish people by bestowing upon a Hebrew name. And so there's a blessing that we say, and by the way, this is a certificate which has so we already signed it, so it's official. Eitan ben Chana, today's date, which is May 10th, and although his birthday was January 31st, correct? All right, so, and those are the Hebrew dates. If someone ever says, oh, fine, the English date, everyone knows that. What's the Hebrew date? So, but there is a blessing that we say when we bestow a Hebrew name, and it goes like this. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, hayem et hayeled hazeh la'aviv u'imo, yikra shemo b'Yisrael, Eitan ben Chana. Yismach ha'av v'yotzet chalatzav v'tagel imo b'fri vitno. Zeh ha'katan gadol yihyeh kashem shenichnas labrit ken yikanes l'torah u'chupa u'ma'asim tovim. Those words mean, our God and God of our people, sustain this child to his mother and his father, and let his name be known throughout the community of Israel as Eitan ben Chana. May he bring much joy to his parents in the months and years to come. As he has entered the covenant of Abraham and Sarah, so may he enter into the study of Torah, the blessing of marriage, and the practice of good deeds. May his parents cherish the privilege of raising him, educating him, and encouraging him to attain wisdom. May his hands and his heart be faithful to God and to all humanity, and let us say, Amen. Now, two more things. So, one, first of all, do you think, this is a real risk, do you think that he would go crazy if I grab him is a strong word. Okay, so if he does, we'll give him right back. But what I want you to do, so I'm going to do, I'll take him, and I used to know how to do this. Hi. What have your, oh my God. Oh my God. Hi. So there's a blessing that we say, and that blessing is is from the... I know what you're all thinking. You're thinking to yourself, how lucky am I right now, right? So the blessing that we say is the blessing that comes from the Torah that God instructed Moses and Aaron to bless all of our children with. And to this day, we still use it. It's a blessing that we share at moments like this, at moments under a chuppah, around the dinner table on Shabbat, for a bar mitzvah. And the blessing is Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ha'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May the light of God's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasein lecha shalom. May a sense of God's presence always surround you and bless you with peace. Amen. Wasn't that fun? Wasn't that fun? I know. Of course, there's one final blessing that we say at a moment like this. It's the blessing in which we utter, thanking God for giving us life and for sustaining us and for enabling us to reach this day. It's a blessing called Shehechianu, and please join me if you know it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, yehelanu, 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 hu lechol Yisrael, yehelanu, yehelanu, Lechol Yisrael. Siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, yehelanu. Mazel tov to you guys. You could not have been a cuter. Oh my God, it's so. I'll keep it for one day. I will. All right, so I'll get to just carry that joy with me for a little bit longer. You have other joys to experience, one specifically being Lecha Dodi, page 138. Would everyone please rise and face the entrance to Greek Sabbath Bride? Shalom, Ateret Bala, Gam Besimcha, Uvetzola, Dei Am Segula, Oichala, Oichala, Olechadoni, Nikakala, Bnei Shabbat, Nikamela, Olechadoni, Nikakala, Bnei Shabbat, All right, please remain standing, and our service continues on page 146 with the Baruch Hu, our call to worship. Please join me. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Please be seated. Next page. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha v'dibarta v'ham b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uvshochvecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam amzuzot beitecha uvisha'arecha Leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim leloechem Ahani Adonai Eloechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. On page 159, sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. And that song is Mi Chamocha on the facing page 158.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. תהילות כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. So our service continues on page 161. And let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amon Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai haborei sukkot shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amon Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al Our service continues now on page 164 with the Tefillah, 164, 166, 168, and 170 in succession. But first, 164, Adonai Sifatai Tiftach. Would everyone please rise? 166. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imoteinu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Anorah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Ahavot V'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'Nehem, L'Ma'an Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'Ezrat Sarah, 168, Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Nechayea Kol Atarav Lehoshia, Morid Hatahal, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Zohomech Noflim Verofech Oholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memid, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'emanat ala chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. 170, Atah kadosh, V'shimcha kadosh, U'kdoshim b'chol yom yalelucha selah, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. So we are on page 175. Feel free to join me, but you don't have to. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, and when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance, and let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yir'ah na'avod. We continue with Shalom Rav, our evening prayer for peace, 178.
Shalom Rama Yisrael Ta'asim Ta'asim Leolam. Shalom Rama Yisrael Ta'asim Ta'asim Leolam. Ki Atahu Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Ki Atahu Melech Lechol HaShalom. Shalom Rama Yisrael Ta'asim Ta'asim Leolam. Shalom Ta'asim Leolam.
So this is the part in our service when we pause from what's written down in our prayer book and we share the stuff that's going on in our minds and in our hearts. I'm going to try to make this one a little bit quicker than normal, only because I know we have some other things planned, but I didn't want to miss the opportunity. And so we, as a way of creating a sense of community, we like to give you the opportunity of sharing those things which bring you joy or have brought you joy recently. And so if you've experienced joy recently and you'd like to share it, we would love to hear about it. So all you have to do is raise your hand if you got some joy. Try not to take too many pictures, Paul, not in Shabbat. Yes? Thank you. We're so delighted to welcome him. Yes? You had an AP Psych test yesterday. How'd it go? We don't know it's going to be a 5, but you feel pretty good about it. Congratulations. I hope that what you think and what ends up happening are the same. And when do you find it, like in end of June, right? Is that July? Yeah. Boy, they make you wait a little bit, don't they? More joy? Anybody else want to share joy? Yeah, Mike.
So, our kids, my daughter is doing her freshman year over, even though she's the same age as Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one, same time as Sammy, are finishing up their freshman year in college.
Wow.
Same time.
Wait. Both of your kids are finishing up their freshman year in college.
Yeah, Abby's going to the
That's right.
It was.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Mazel tov.
Model.
That's right. We're going to Ken Yehi a bunch of these. Ken Yehi, Ken Yehi, Ken Yehi, Ken Yehi. More joy? Yeah.
The other day we had, we knew for a while, but the other day we had a call from Jacob. He was a little upset. They were doing the BDS vote at Towson.
Yeah.
And he went to speak against it.
Wow.
And unfortunately, and so many people came to the community talk that they cut them off.
Oh, yeah.
And so towards the end, before they started the actual meeting, they asked if anyone had anything else to say, and he stood up to say his piece. And they called a call of order and kicked him out of the yes.
Yeah, I'm aware of what's going on up there. I'm so disappointed.
But he's not done, so we're very proud of him.
We're proud of him.
Yeah, and I'm proud of him too.
Yeah, so he's now writing to the paper and he went to his leadership. He's gonna do everything.
It's a thing. I mean, it's what happened in Towson is going all over, and it's a big deal. And you know, I was just talking with somebody right before the service started, and I realized, though I say this a lot in other settings, maybe I don't say it enough here, we as Jewish people, we do care very much about the suffering of all people. We do care. And so for us to say that we turn a blind eye to the suffering of others, Palestinians, we don't. But at the same time, you know, Hillel said, if I am not for myself, who will be for me? And in other words, it's also our obligation, though, and it's in my heart to be full heart and full-throated in my love of the state of Israel and in my support of the state of Israel and in my fury that the people, the leadership of the Palestinians have put them in harm's way with such regularity. But at the same time, regardless, that suffering, anyone's suffering, is something which we do not take delight in. In fact, one final thought about that, you know, there's this famous Midrash story having to do with when the Israelites crossed the Sea of Reeds. And we, as you know, from the Micha Mocha, we sang and celebrated when we crossed the Sea of Reeds because we made it to freedom. And what did God do? God said, how can you be singing right now while my creatures are dying in the water? It's true. We do care. We care about all people. But we don't want to spend, I don't want to spend my time caring so much about others that I ignore the importance of caring about our own people. And that is mostly etched in my heart. So just want to be clear that
that I'm so proud of Jacob, and I hope, and if he needs help or support, I'm there for him. But I also do want to communicate that we do care about all suffering. It does matter to us. And I say this a lot in other settings, but maybe I haven't said it enough here, so I wanted to say it here too. But thank you for telling me about Jacob. Other joy? Yeah.
My beautiful daughter is here with us. She came to see me for Mother's Day, and she came to hear Nashira sing and to hear you.
Right, sure. Beautiful on the inside and on the outside.
More beautiful
Right,
place.
that's right.
Equally.
Awesome. I'm glad you're here. Other joy? Yes, John.
Usually it's parents who get nachas from their children, but we in our family, Sarah's dad gave us nachas because he was a foreign service officer early in his career, and this week he got a huge award at the State Department.
Wow.
It was because he's written several books about the foreign service since he's retired from the foreign service, and they recognized him and he gave a lovely letter of remarks, so we're very proud of him.
Yeah. Well, for the joy of seeing your kid stand up against really tough odds, because on college campuses, it's not a safe space for Jewish kids, that's for sure. And for the joy of seeing of deriving nachas from a parent or a parent-in-law as opposed to just from your kids, join me. Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? Paul, you want to share something? Go ahead. Paul, yes.
I already announced my joy last time, but I never did get a pencil.
Oh, right. Because you're 96. I'll get you a pencil. I won't forget. He wants a pencil. Do you have a pencil sharpener? Okay, fine. Just making sure. Other joy back here? Yes, Lori. You got one there? Thank you. Thank you. Lori, what's your joy?
What a joy and an honor to receive the Service Award at the annual meeting of Temple Beth-Shalom.
Yep, Lori got the Service Award for the Volunteer of the Year at Temple Beth Shalom, and we're so proud and honored to have been able to present it to you. Mazel tov. Other joy? Yes?
I'm just happy to see my friend Robert here tonight joining us.
Okay, great.
Major surgeries, and he's still recovering. But it's nice that he's here tonight.
Glad to have you here. Yes?
I did well on my math test.
Well on your math test? How well?
8 out of 9.
8 out of 9? Nice, good for you. Was it, what was it on?
I think it was just variables.
Variables?
Yeah.
Too complicated for me. Algebraic expressions. I can't even pronounce that, much less do it. That's amazing. Congratulations. It's awesome. All right. Anybody else want to share joy? Baruch atah Adonai, gomel chasadim tovim. We praise you, Adonai, our God, for partnering with us in the various joys that are in our lives. Mazel tov to you all, and thank you for sharing your joy with us. And let's flip it around to the struggles that we feel, because loved ones of ours are in need of healing and health, and we have a blessing that we say for them, and that blessing is called Misha Berach. So what we'll do is I will share with you the beginning of the blessing, then I'm going to pause, give you a chance to share a name if you wish, and then we'll finish up the blessing and then sing. And this version of Misha Berach is my absolute favorite. It's not in our book, but I mean, if you turn to page 371, you'll be able to see some of the words, but it's not exactly this version, but it's so beautiful. And Nashira sings it just to make me happy, so I appreciate it. But the blessing starts this way, and again, halfway through I'm going to pause and give you a chance to share a name, if you wish, of someone in need of healing. The blessing begins, Misha Berach, Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, v'imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, v'Rivka. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel, Hu yivarech v'yirapet kol hacholim shalanu. May God bless and heal all of our loved ones who are in need of healing, especially the ones whom we name at this time. And so I'm going to look around the room, and when my eye meets yours, or your section, if you'd like to share the name of someone in need of healing, please feel free to do so. Thank you, Steve. Yep, thank you.
Stephen Schnell.
Thank you.
Morris Dell.
Roger Bush.
Rita Kelly. Allison Illinois.
No, I can't Hansel.
Mark Hanson.
And let me just also include the names Shoshana Rivka Batsipura, Peter Goldstein, Aaron Rose, and Glenn Clavins. Bishlach lehem bimheira refuah shalema. May God send them speedily a complete recovery. Refuat hanefesh v'refuat haguf. A healing of body and a healing of spirit. B'toch sha'ar cholei Yisrael. Amongst all who are in need of healing. V'nomar amen. And let us say amen. So again, Misha Berach, you can find elements of it on page 371. Love it. Thank you so much. We continue now with a moment of silence.
So I mentioned in a few days we'll be observing Yom HaZikaron, which is Memorial Day in Israel. That, I think, begins on Monday evening. And then there is a transition from struggle and pain to celebration. And that is because then on Tuesday evening, we transition from Yom HaZikaron to Yom HaAtzmaut, which is Israel's Independence Day. This year, of course, this Yom HaZikaron, this Memorial Day, will have a very different feel than previous ones. Although, that's the very fact and very concept that, that Memorial Day in Israel, Yom HaZikaron, is so powerful and so significant and so observed, is because so many people know a loved one who was taken protecting or fighting in one of our wars and one of our struggles. And so, and it affects virtually every family in Israel. And so, yes, this year, though, different. And I am happy that my wife, Hannah, is here because she has been articulating so many of the feelings, not all, but so many of the feelings that people are feeling at this time as they go day to day, week to week, seeing and recognizing that we have loved ones who are still in captivity. We have loved ones who lost their lives. We have loved ones who are protecting and fighting for Israel in a war that we neither started nor desired. And so that we are so happy, I am so happy that we've had an opportunity and a person to kind of articulate many of our feelings that we have. And so I would like to invite Rabbi Hannah Yerushalmi to the bima here. We're going to do this in a little sit-down fashion. Hi. I think so.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
It's on. All right. Hopefully everyone can, I think most people can see, except for you guys, but I'll put the transcript on my back for you or something. So this is a little weird because, well, for obvious reasons, but aside from that, it's because I am aware, like, I know a lot of the things that I'm about to ask. I know, like a lot of the questions that maybe I'll ask are just because I think that they are valuable for people just to understand where she's coming from with poetry. And I think that I just wanted to just kind of bring out some of the more important themes. But why don't we start? And the plan is that she's going to read a poem, and then I'll ask her a handful of questions about it. But first, a more broad question. Hannah, how long is this poetry a recent thing for you, or has this been something which has been part of you for longer than just since October 7th?
I'm glad you asked. First of all, it's really a pleasure to be here with everybody, and I appreciate the opportunity to come here and talk about my hobby. I have probably, since I can remember, have always enjoyed writing. Always loved an essay exam over a multiple choice, and probably started writing what I would call poetry in high school. You know, when you're dealing with all the angst and all the worries and all the concerns, and it was a great way to express myself.
So reading the poetry was, picking poems to do here was hard for lots of different reasons. There were really so many beautiful ones to choose. And you have a book which just came out, Strip of Land. What does that mean about this strip?
Strip of land is Israel.
It is a little strip.
It is a strip of land.
So the only one that we've picked to read is in the book, because 3 other ones are more recent. And I know that you'll have the book available for people if they want later, but let's start.
Before we start,
Yeah.
I just want to let you know, if you have a chance to look at the book at the opening, you'll realize that the book is dedicated, and it's dedicated to a woman who shares my last name. Her name is Eden Yerushalmi. She's 24 years old. She went to the Nova Festival to actually work as a bartender, and went early to enjoy the music because she loves to dance. And she was taken. And I don't remember exactly when, but a few weeks after October 7th, I realized, as we started learning more about the hostages and their backgrounds and their stories and their names, to my shock, I realized that there was a hostage with my name. And I just kind of started connecting with her and sort of adopted her as my cousin. I've written poems about her. I've connected with her sisters on social media. They have invited people who became kind of a circle of support for them to write Eden letters. And I've written her a few letters that we hope she'll be able to read when she's released. So that's something that's really meaningful to me, and I dream of the day that I will be able to hand her this book when she is safely back in the arms of her family. The other thing about this book is all the proceeds of this book will be donated to one of the kibbutzim that was assaulted on October 7th, near Oz. I had the opportunity to visit near Oz in February, and about 25% of the kibbutz were either murdered or abducted. An unbelievable number. And I'm going to be so pleased to be able to bring them some funds for rebuilding. So please know if you do purchase the book, the funds will be going to the rebuilding of this, one of the kibbutzim that was ravaged on October 7th. So just wanted to share that.
So, all right, so why don't we read one and then I'll ask you about it. So we're going to start with Reaching Far to Bless My Child. So this is in the book. And
It's in the order service.
it's also, oh yeah, all of the poetry. We're not going to do it exactly in the order that's here, but all of the 4 poems are included in the book.
So this is actually one of your favorite poems.
Yes, it is.
And that's why you picked it. So maybe we'll ask you after I read it why it's your favorite. So this was written on October 27th, when everything, if you can remember what it was like, just a few weeks after October 7th, we were all in such shock, still understanding exactly what happened. And I was most struck by the mothers whose children were taken. And I wrote this poem keeping them in mind. And it's called Reaching Far to Bless My Child. At the dinner table, she spreads her open palm, ready to offer a Shabbat blessing. But tonight, the high chair is empty. With an ache in her heart, she takes a deep, lung-filled breath and extends her hands past their limits, a long reach on some imaginary plane. In some mystical way, her hands lengthen and follow a path, stretching past the city limits, south, down south, and further south, past acres of date palms, past miles of highway, past gravel roads, past border fence. Searching and finally finding her taken child, she lays her stretched out hands on her crown and begins whispering ancient words, with tears welling and spilling and flowing. There in the dark tunnel, she notices her child's captor, a simple man, just like any other man, and she murmurs, in this place where there is no humanity, for my child, my heart, my life, ishtadel lihyot ish, strive to be a human being.
So why do I like it or love it? Various different reasons, because I, just earlier this evening, we, welcomed a young man, won't say young man, a little one into the ranks of the Jewish people, and I uttered the words which I think you were referring to, which is Yivarech Adonai Yishmerecha, which is the blessing that you would bless on Shabbat. And and there's the empty chair, and then the image that you kind of take me, like I imagine driving down the path that you're speaking of, the date palms, the highways, the south, and I just kind of imagine the trip. And you're kind of taking me on a little trip down to where the captive is. And I think that's always what struck me about this in a very meaningful way. And yes, especially tonight, all the more reason with little Ethan over here, and I think how lucky you are to be holding him tight, and how unlucky whoever you're referring to, I want to ask you about that, is feeling at the same time. So speaking, let me ask you, did you have anyone in mind, or was it?
I remember at this time we were hearing a lot from the parents of the children that were taken. Some people were visiting grandparents on kibbutzim. It was a holiday, and the mom maybe took the kids or the dad took the kids, and so sometimes the parents were going to join together later that Shabbat afternoon. And so I was just imagining any parent who didn't have their child with them on that particular Shabbat. If any of you have ever been to Israel during Shabbat time, it's a big time for families to get together. Everybody goes home for Shabbat for dinner, and so it's very likely that people gather and bless each other, and it's unusual to be separated, especially from your younger ones. So I was thinking of any parent separated from their child.
Yeah. And I wanted to also ask about that last line. You said, Ishtadel lihyot ish, and which means strive to be human, and I think that's from Pirkei Avot, B'makom she'ein anashim in a place where there's no humans, you be the one to be the human. So what did you mean specifically, maybe? Do you have a thought as to why, how it is that you brought that expression into it?
Well, I think that one of the things maybe we all pray for and hope for and dream for is that, we're all people, we're all human beings, and those of us who have the opportunity to be parents, we take care of each other's children. And I think we were all hoping that during that time in October that people would take care of each other. And that
like maybe people in Gaza would actually look out for these various
children, for children especially, they're innocent, and that maybe they'd be cared for.
You oftentimes use, or how is your inclusion of this Pirkei Avot, or Mishnaic piece? So is that because you just know this stuff, or were you trying to include Jewish texts in your poetry?
I mean, I wish I had a system that I could share about how I do it, but I just kind of start playing around with the words and thoughts come, and it occurred to me, and here we are. It appears.
It appears. So let's read it. So again, we'll read it first, and then I'll ask you about it afterwards. So let's skip collecting hope, and let's go to everywhere, which is the third one.
Where should I kiss? The universe asked the land. Devastated in the north, bereft in the south, the land was hurting and stayed silent. Where should I kiss? The universe asked the people. Broken by history, betrayed by allies, the people were hurting and stayed silent. Where should I kiss? The universe asked the child. Everywhere, the child responded. I hurt everywhere.
Yeah. It's for sure, again, the parent, I think about, you give your kid a kiss when they say they're hurt, and magically the kiss makes it feel better. And, and I can tell that that's what the message was, but what I was struck by in this one was how there was, the land was silent. It was hurting and stayed silent. The people were hurting and stayed silent. Can you explain talk a little bit about what you meant by this silence? Why they were silent?
I think I was imagining when we are overcome with so much grief and pain, it is very hard to articulate where the feelings are and how to feel better. And I just imagine the land and the people just unable to be comforted because the pain was so deep.
The next one I thought you would read is one that's very provocative and really worthy, and it's called Step Aside. So maybe you can read this one, and I'm looking forward to hearing some of your thoughts about it.
It's time. Let the women through. The mothers, the grandmothers. Let us be decision makers. Let us sit at the table. Let us have a say. We're used to it. Measuring, counting, weighing, kneading, swapping, stretching, sharing, bartering. So step aside, you who pray, Shelo Asad Isha. Let the women through. The mothers and grandmothers. We who have held your life tenderly in our bodies. Let us through. We will know what to do to finally bring them home.
Wow. Was when I hear this, I can't, I'm caught between two emotions, or me understanding what you're saying with two emotions. I can't tell if it's anger or impatience, or both, or neither. How would you describe the emotion that you were trying to communicate?
So I wrote this a few weeks ago, and if you've been watching the news, this hostage deal has been on the table, and you'll also probably notice typically the people that are in charge of this hostage deal, most of them are wearing ties and trousers, and there aren't women at the table. they're not there. So it's been something I've been watching for a while, wondering, why is it that the men are speaking for the families? And what would it be like? I wonder, what would it be like if we had some women at that table, on both sides, having conversations? Maybe because of our experiences and maybe because of the gifts we could bring, maybe something would change.
Yeah. So maybe it's both. Maybe there's both a little bit of anger, like how come, and impatience, like why hasn't it happened yet? Because, or it's just dreaming about what it would be like, because you can't move mountains, unfortunately, but we can just at least imagine how things might be better, different at least. But the second thing about that is you include an expression, Shiloh San Isha, which means it's part of the morning service in the prayer called Nisim B'Kol, in which it says, "We praise you, Adonai our God, for not making me a woman." By the way, do not shoot the translator or the messenger. I do not agree with it. But my point is that, like, when you put that in there, for me, I immediately, because that's the traditional expression, so I immediately went to thinking about the ultra-Orthodox also and their kind of very patriarchal world that they live in. Was this a statement, were you thinking about the ultra-Orthodox in Israel, or was it just you were thinking about these men, regardless of what their religious experience was?
So the prayer is obviously controversial, but one of the rationale behind the prayer is that one of the reasons that men are grateful to not have been created as a woman is because they then have the opportunity to do all these mitzvot, right, that keep them very busy, studying and achieving all the time-bound and non-time-bound mitzvot. And so they're grateful that they're not women because then they have this extra opportunity to show God their heart and their service by being busy by doing mitzvot. And women, on the other hand, don't have to do that. They're not obligated. They can, but they're not obligated. Why? Because women have the honor of raising the family and bearing children. And so, in this case, I was trying to point out in a way to play with that. Go and do your mitzvot. Let the women do what women do, which is taking care of families and taking care of children. So there's a little bit of anger there, but also it's an irony that this could potentially be a decision that women should be making and be included in, and they're not.
Right. Now, in retrospect, I wish you had said, Shiloh San Isha, go do your mitzvot and let us do the stuff around the bargaining table while you're doing your mitzvot. So one last poem, and the reason why we flipped the order was just because we wanted to end more hopeful than down. So perhaps read the last one, which is Collecting Hope, and then ask you a question.
So this one was written around the time that the baseball season started, and it kind of inspired this idea. So it starts, "Our national pastime does not come in the shape of a ball. There's no season to it, no heroes, no playoffs, and certainly no winner. There's no before and after, no rise and fall, and no substance to it at all. But it is everything, and it lives minute to minute, renewing itself along the way. Through reeling pain, thick darkness, and numbing loss, it guides us on unknown paths. Our national pastime, a blessing, and a yoke around our neck, is the simple act of collecting hope."
So the baseball season just began. And on the one hand, you could be just making a statement about the fact that national pastime here, national pastime. But it could also, or I couldn't help but read it also as, our national pastime is trivial because, it's baseball. Look, I don't mean, for those of you who love baseball, I apologize, but look, I'm a football devotee, but I do know that it's still just a game.
Do you know that?
I do. And you think I'm going to air this right now. It is still just a game, and it is not the most important thing happening. And I couldn't tell if partly what you were doing here was just trying to say, look, you know, we in America, Jews included, it's easy for us to get distracted by all of our fun things and then not remember about what's really important, which is the national pastime there, at least as you articulated, which is hope. And I'm not trying to like lead it, but were you kind of to some degree mocking it, or was it not meant to be like trivial, you know, comparing the two only just to say one and the other?
So I wrote this the day that the video of Hirsch Goldberg Poland was released, and it was the first time his parents saw him. You know, he had a traumatic arm injury, and I didn't know if he was going to be alive, if he could have survived that. And it was the first time his parents saw him, and I was imagining, you know, if you've heard his parents speak, they're very inspiring, and how they've held on to hope. But I think also, I wrote this thinking about, you know, from the day Israel was established, hope has been so central to, it's like an everyday mantra that Israelis and Jews think about when it comes to the country of Israel. And then it contrasts, I think, with what is a baseball game, what is a football game? That's what people do when they have leisure, when they have security. When you don't have leisure and security, you don't get to enjoy these things. And, you know, one day we pray that Israel would be able to have different national pastimes, but for now, collecting hope is what they do on a daily basis.
Yeah. So, last question. Tell me a little bit about, you referred to hope as being a yoke around our neck. What does that mean?
Well, I mean, if they have to hope because things keep happening. Terrible things keep happening, so they keep having to hope. Will there be a bomb today? Will my children come home from school okay? Will there be a suicide bomber? You know, hope is interwoven into the fabric of what it means to be a Jew and an Israeli. And it is a yoke, because we wish that it didn't have to be that way.
I see. We wish that it's like unfortunate that this has to be our national pastime. Like, hope, really? Why can't we have baseball as our national pastime?
Or soccer.
Or soccer, right? You're right, or soccer. I have to tell you, I have had the joy and pleasure of reading all of these poems on a number of occasions, and they're very meaningful, very powerful, and again, they have done such a good job of you know, you talked about the land state silent, and it's because, you know, sometimes you don't have the words to articulate how you're feeling, and we have had the opportunity to benefit from you being able to articulate those feelings to help us, guide us through the way we want to approach what's happening. And so I speak personally, but I also speak as a representative, and I'm truly grateful for helping us kind of sort out our emotions, helping us kind of think through these things and what's important and what's not important, and giving a voice to feelings. You're pretty good. Pretty proud of you. And if you'd like to ask her a little bit more, you're welcome to, after our service, which will be in about 10 minutes or so. You want to give? Sure. How about we take just a couple questions, and then we'll, because I know we're running late. So is there any time, would anyone like to ask a question? I don't mean to put anyone on the spot. Mr. Schatzberg.
I'm always interested in what inspires people to write a poem. Where does the inspiration come from? How do you experience expressing yourself poetically rather than by prose?
So let me just repeat it for those who are watching on Zoom, on the screen, because they don't have a microphone on you. So it's what's the process for writing a poem? What's the inspiration, and what's the process for you after coming up with that inspiration? Did I say correctly?
So for me, I can't possibly explain. If you were to ask me to teach a poetry class, I would say, no thank you. I have no idea how to explain what I do. I can only explain that it's an outlet for me. It's a way to get emotions out. Why poetry, not prose? I think poetry is more challenging. It's succinct. It's important to really be brief and to pick words that have impact. And prose sometimes, for me, gets long-winded and things get oversaid, and it doesn't speak to me as much as writing poetry. It's more of a challenge, I think, for me.
I'm particularly impressed by the poetry of Emily Dickinson.
Right.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so one more question. So Tom, go ahead and get one more question.
I just wanted to say that if you read from start to finish, especially if you're reading the notes at the bottom, which are almost so personal and so much, it really has a cumulative, almost narrative effect that is very powerful, and that you only get if you have it.
Right. So just for the stream, what Tom just mentioned was that in the book, that the notes kind of give you give you a little bit of an opening or window into what you were thinking, and on top of it, it also helps create more it unifies the poetry. It makes it, to some degree, not prose, but it turns it into like a long, much longer kind of statement or expression.
And I have to thank him for the ideas to put the notes at the bottom. That was something you had done with a couple of my poems, and it was a great idea, and we did it throughout the book.
All right, so sorry, one last question, and then we'll come. I'm just going to get to the question part as opposed to the thank yous. Did you get any response from the Yerushalmi?
So, if you know how Instagram works, you follow somebody and then they follow you back, so you have a connection. And they have reposted some of the poems that I've written and some of the letters that I've written, and they have responded and thanked me for the letters. So there's a little bit of a connection, and hopefully, when she comes back, the connection can be deepened.
All right. So only because I'm aware of the time that I'm going to. I know. So thank you for allowing us into the sanctuary to share these words. It's very meaningful, and we're grateful. But I know that the hour's late, so we're going to go straight to Aleinu. This is on page 586, and I would like to invite you to please rise. Thank you very much. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu kamishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, umishtachavim, umodim, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני
Please be seated. At this moment, we bring to mind loved ones from our congregation who have passed away. Some have passed away quite recently, others on this Shabbat over the years. And we have a prayer that we say called the Kaddish. I would like to first share, though, these loved ones who have passed away quite recently. We still quite lovingly remember Leslie Ellen Harris, wife of Ken and mother of Ari and Bennett. We also remember lovingly Barbara Zietz, wife of Lou. And additionally, I would like to share with you these names of loved ones whose yahrzeits occur on this Shabbat. It means it's the anniversary of their passing. Jacob Mednick, Sarah Ostrowski, Ruth Singer, Robert Tannenbaum, Julius Abrams, Vivian Borelli, Francis Lustigman, Rebecca Kaplan, Pearl Lemberg, Kimberly Scalzi, Morris Bahar, Philip Packman, Jean Berlin, and Walter Eichelman. And so in gratitude for their lives and linking their names with the rest of our loved ones who have passed away, we remember them now with a prayer that we call the Kaddish. It can be found on page 598. If it is your custom, please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, bi'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechal beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'alam ulamei al-maya, Yibarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha b'richu le'ila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata da'amiram b'yalma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav huya asei shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to every bereaved heart. Amen. Please be seated. Thank you. So I'm going to try to do this quickly. Thank you so much to Tom DeKornfeld and Jerry Falk for serving as ushers this evening. Thank you so much to Mark Miller and Jay Resnick for sponsoring the Oneg Shabbat this evening, which is out in the lobby in just a minute or two. Thank you so much. Also, of course, thank you to Nashira, led by Jonathan Biran. As usual, you have once again outdone yourselves in terms of the mellifluous sound that emanates from, really, it's so skillful and we're so grateful. Also, thank you so much to my wife, Rabbi Hannah Yerushalmi, not just for her words here, but for her poetry in general. We are so deeply appreciative. I know I am. Wow, so tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., Hudson's going to become bar mitzvah. Awesome. You can come in person if you want, or you can watch on our stream. All of the things that happen here in the sanctuary are on our stream. By the way, everything I'm about to tell you can be found in our weekly email that's sent out. If you do not get our weekly email, run, don't walk, run to the phone on Monday and call up the office and say you would like to be on the list. My Torah study, my weekly Torah study, for this coming Monday only, it will be Zoom only, just in case you are planning on coming, and I hope you do. Monday morning, Zoom only. My Sages class, which is on Tuesday evenings, that's in person or on Zoom. May 19th, a discussion mostly for students, for college-age students or soon to be entering college, on how to navigate the crazy world of college campuses these days. I hope Jacob's on that Zoom with us because he can probably offer us a lot of perspective. Additionally, on May 19th, we have an evening of Jewish classical music and Israeli songs in observance of Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Memorial Day, Yom HaZikaron, Memorial Day, and Yom Ha'atzmaut, Independence Day. RSVP, you have to RSVP for that by May 15th. Again, everything is in the weekly email. Wow, the Rabbi's 20th anniversary celebration. Yes, I have been here a full 20 years. I will be starting my 21st year on July 1st. So if you would like to come and celebrate 20 years, RSVP by May 13th. Finally, the Men's Club Herb Abeleys Memorial Golf Tournament and Fundraiser is on June 14th. Again, weekly email to sign up. I've said plenty. Before we conclude with the singing of Od Yavo or Salam, depending on, and you can find that on page 657. And by the way, the words to that song, so important, so meaningful, you know, soon peace will come to us. Shalom, salam, that is what, of course, we are looking for. But before we conclude with that song, I'd like to invite Hudson and his family to join us here on the Bima for the honor of leading us in Motzi. Ooh, that is not a challah that we got at Safeway. That is for sure. This looks like a Vered special. You can tell. All right, so hold this in your hands like that, yeah. So ready to do this blessing with me? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Nice, so here, put this down. Take a hunk, share it with your family. Yeah, sure, that. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Depends on how hungry you are. All right, so share that with your family. Od Yavo, page 657, is how we conclude our service. Let's go back to your seat.
Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Salam, Aleichem ve'akol ha'olam, Salam, 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 Aleichem ve'akol ha'olam, Salam, Salam, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem,
ve'akol Shalom Aleinu, Odino Shalom Aleinu, Shalom Aleinu, ve'akol Salam, Salam Aleinu ve'akol ha'olam, Salam, Salam, Salam Aleinu ve'akol ha'olam, Salam, Salam, Shalom Aleinu ve'akula. Odino Shalom Aleinu ve'akula. Wow, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you out in the lobby for an Oneg Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. What's that, you man?
out of the hospital till about a little bit before 6.
Oh, well, that
We're fine by then. The traffic is good, right?
Shalom, Joey. Shalom. How are you doing? Thank you.
Yeah, she got up. She got up, she could go down.
That's usually how it works. What goes up must come down, right?
Sorry for this thing.
I consider myself part of the show. That's good enough.
Yeah, I gotta get back up there. Yeah. We had a lot of fun.
And they do. Like they really do. I would be like you. Yes. Never have
Yeah.
She's never died. Oh, yeah?
Aha. You're ahead of me. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I'll be spending a lot of time in Towson to make sure we turn these up. Because my sister's usually with my daughter, my nephew, we have our